It's Thrill Me Thursday. You know the drill. Here we go. So you know, of course, it's a top five. It's intended to be a top five. Everybody wants this to be a top five. But of course, I have a mountain of VHSs here. So we're going to just rapid fire some of these honorable mentions. I'm going to say just a little bit. Then we're going to dive into the actual top five. So number one. No, honorable mentions. Evil Dead 2 on 4K. No, of course not. We're going Evil Dead 2 on the VHS. Yes, honorable mention. Fantastic film. I do like the first one more than this one. I know with some people that's an unpopular opinion, but I really dig this one. It's got some good humor. I kind of feel like this is, Texas Chainsaw 2 to Texas Chainsaw 1. They're totally different movies, but they're both fantastic. So Evil Dead 2. Sam Raimi. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, Nightmare on Elm Street Media VHS. This is fantastic. Love that I have this. A great film. If you don't know Nightmare on Elm Street, fuck you. Next, the greatest horror film of all time, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, listen to me here. Okay, there are horror sequences in this film. If you don't think so, then you've never just been out of your mind on stuff. No, what I'm getting at is the last 26 minutes of this film are maybe the greatest 26 minutes in film history. I am willing to make that argument all day long. Stanley Kubrick, fantastic. The ideas in this movie are pretty terrifying, but fantastic. Hal is pretty intimidating, pretty scary, and I think this deserves mention. 2001: Space Odyssey. What a fucking great movie that is. Incredible. Incredible, believe me. Now going on to another masterpiece, RoboCop 3. Yo, nobody's gonna make that argument. I was shocked to find out that this was a Fred Dekker movie, because this one is he flies around and snipes people with a pistol on his jetpack. I mean, this is a hoot. The best part of this VHS is the quote on the back: "The best RoboCop ever." Yeah, right. Yeah, that's much better than RoboCop 1. Another masterpiece. Here. Terminator. This is another one that people say, "Oh, that's not horror." Come on, man. It's a slash. You got a big scary guy who's a robot who was sent back in time to destroy you. That is terrifying. Sarah Connor. Are you Sarah Connor? Oh. You got a bam. Great movie. Fantastic. Everything about this movie is fantastic. It's a perfect film. Now, I got my little poster here, so of course I like the Terminator. Great movie. Coming in with another great one, another staple of the VHS. I mean, every person with a horror collection of VHS needs to have Scream, and I'm pretty sure you already do. Everybody has this one, and it's great. It's a great movie all around. Wes Craven did a great job, and it's a blast. If you don't know Scream, check it out. A film that I think benefits from the VHS format, maybe more than any other that's going to be on here. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Now, where I'm coming from here is first of all, this is an older film, so you're going to get that older look. But I think the biggest benefit to this is the fact that the bird effects are they're shot on a film and they're thrown on top of another film, at least most of the bird effects. So on the VHS, it definitely hides it, which is definitely a bonus of VHS, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's Hitchcock, man. One of the greatest directors of all time, if not the greatest director of all time. His mountain of achievements, yeah, like my praise is gonna. The horror guy said so. So now we're talking. Bada bing, bada boom. Here we go. One of my favorite films of all time. I'm gonna freak your mind right here. Freak your mind, boom. Wait a minute. Oh, that's just epic right there. Happy birthday, John Carpenter. It's his birthday. Today is your birthday. Awesome movie. I could talk for years about this movie. It's one of my favorite films of all time, regardless of genre. I think there is not a single thing wrong with this movie. The mystery. who is and who isn't. Gotta watch The Thing. If you haven't seen The Thing, drop your kids. I don't care. Go see The Thing. I don't care if you have to leave them at the park and you're just zooming home. You got to see it. It's a masterpiece. It is literally a perfect film. All right. One of my favorites, one that nobody talks about, Galaxy Terror. Great movie. Great cover. Which, this isn't exactly what you're going to see in this movie, but there's a little bit of foreshadowing, some weird creature and some almost naked shit. This is a great one. You got Sid Haig, for Pete's sake, in here. You know, it's a Roger Corman film. Freddy Krueger's in it. Yes. Not with the glove and everything. The actor. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking. But I'm just trying to get you pumped. You got Freddy Krueger. You got one of the couples from Happy Days, I believe. Sid Haig. You know, crazy score. Some really weird sequences. A really just all-around great one. This is one that definitely I suggest, if you've never seen or heard of this film, going out and see it. It is Event Horizon mixed with Alien. So if that's interesting to you, definitely seek it out. There is a Scream Factory 4K restoration Blu-ray, so you can do that all up. And then the last honorable mention, Dracula. This is a fantastic one. This is one of my favorite Universal horror films. It might be my favorite, but this version is special. This is one where they got music composed by Philip Glass. He composed stuff for this. I think this is the only way to get that version, but this version is so good. Philip Glass is one of the greatest composers of all time, and his work on Koyaanisqatsi and Candyman are just absolutely off the charts. This is great too. If you can get this, go on out and do it, because this is the best version of the film. I know that's a little sacrilege saying this is better than the 31 version, but this is the movie scored by Philip frickin' Glass. Perfection. So now finally moving on to our top 5. We're going to dive in with a film that is found footage, so it's perfect for the format. It's like you got the lost tape and you're viewing the last hours or days of these people. That's Blair Witch Project. This is a movie that's really great, really builds atmosphere up, and you just get thrown into some craziness. And the fact that it is shot on VHS, it just works perfectly for it to be on VHS. So that's number 5. What a great, perfect meshing between art and reality. You don't know what's real anymore. Am I real? Are you real? Is reality even real, man? So we're going to dive into an absolutely perfect film in every single way. My favorite Godzilla film, and that's Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. This is one that I was not allowed to see until I think I hit 10, just because if you've seen this one, you could understand why a small child shouldn't watch this. This is a nutty fucking movie. Everybody's on drugs, but everybody's getting killed by this smog monster thing. And when I say killed, like, this is the body count film for Godzilla. If you want to see a Godzilla film that's just absolutely nuts, with a crazy body count, some amazing fight sequences, and just absolute, like, crazy insanity, this is my suggestion. If you've never seen a Godzilla film, this is a great starting spot. I love everything about this film, and I was glad that I eventually was able to see this. Very happy to have this, because the English dub on VHS is very hard to get. So, very lucky, very happy. Great movie. That's Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. That is number 4. Coming in at number 3. It's not going to be too much of a surprise. It's one that's probably going to be on a lot of people's list. That's Night of the Living Dead. It's a classic. George Romero is one of the greatest directors ever. I think that goes without saying. This one is so good all around. I do suggest the Criterion 4K restoration also, which you start noticing things you can't see on this VHS. But this is really cool. I love these media releases. This is a great film. And I think the grainy kind of grungy attitude that VHS gives really fits this movie. And getting thrown into this chaos and craziness with these zombies, it's so fantastic all around. If you haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, go see it. I can't imagine that you haven't if you're on this channel, but maybe you haven't seen this one. Go see it. Night of the Living Dead. What are you missing? What are you missing? Come on. Mackie Max here. All right. Diving in. My number 2. This is a personal choice. This is one that's very close. This was the first horror VHS I ever rented. It's Invaders from Mars. This is the first horror film I ever saw, and it scarred me. Actually, you know what? I might have been like 8. I got this at a Hollywood video. I picked it up. This isn't the exact VHS I got then, but I'm just saying, rented this because my mom's like, oh, you can pick out a movie. We'll rent whatever you want. Oh, this looks cool. It's like an alien movie and stuff. It's classic throwback sci-fi, and it's PG. That means it's all good. This film should not be PG. I do not know how this isn't PG-13. I guess Toby Hooper bribed the ratings board. Oh, boy. So you got the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, 2, and Poltergeist making a PG movie, and this one's crazy. It's nuts. I love everything about this, and it's my number 2. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. It's a blast. I think Tobe Hooper is probably the most underrated director in horror. People like to label, oh, all he did was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. That's all he did. It's like, come on, man. Tobe Hooper did a lot of great stuff. If you haven't seen Life Force, you're missing out. If you haven't seen Invaders from Mars, you're missing out. If you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I got the poster up here, man. I got the poster right here. Tobe Hooper's great. So now, time for number 1. One of the all-time classics featuring every bit of greatness that can possibly be in a film. A film that'll be on practically every list ever. The greatest single-handed perfection of master of reality. Of course, I'm talking about Godzilla's Revenge. The greatest film ever made. There is nothing wrong with this movie. I mean, from the fact that it's only 63 minutes, to the fact that half of that is clips from other Godzilla movies, to the fact that Minya talks to the main character who's a kid trying to escape some gang who's maybe CIA related or whatever. I mean, this movie, oh my goodness. It deserves to be number 1 on any list, and to not put it number 1 would be a disservice to everyone. I also love how I'm almost certain they spelled Minya wrong on the back here. I know it says M-I-N-Y-A, Minya, which, yes, that sounds right, but on almost everything I've ever seen for Godzilla, it's spelled M-I-N-I-L-L-A, like Manila, but it's Minya kind of thing. So, not really sure. Maybe that's a language thing. Maybe that's Japanese. Who knows? This is a masterpiece. Godzilla's Revenge. Every minute of this film's great. And the greatest scene is when the kid discovers Minya, and he walks up to him, and he goes, "Oh, Minya, what's going on?" And Minya goes, "Oh, I'm just out here by myself because I got no friends." What a perfect movie. Of course, this isn't my real number 1, but if you haven't seen Godzilla's Revenge, go out and see it. What a great, great, great time that is. One of the best So Bad It's Good films of all time. Of course, my number 1 is John Carpenter's Halloween. Great VHS. Necessity for any collectors of horror VHS, and the fact that this film was made for $300,000 and you get Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the greatest scores ever by John Carpenter, one of the greatest, best put together directed films by John Carpenter, and I mean Dean Cundey shot the shit out of this. Some of the cinematography in this movie is jaw dropping. I mean, I'd be willing to throw perfect film onto this. I know some people complain a little bit about some of the acting here and there, but who gives a shit? This is a great movie, one of the all-time classics, and the greatest slasher film of all time. I don't know what else to say. If you haven't seen Halloween, go see it. I mean, it's a landmark in horror movies, and honestly, it's definitely up there in that contention for greatest horror film of all time. So that's my list. That's number one. That's the top five with tons of honorable mentions, of course. I have more VHSs. I'll just give a little scan. Look, I got some bunch in there. Look, there's some good ones. There's a lot of goodies. I mean, Blade Runner should be on every list ever. Um, so just let that sink in. I got some VHS there. I got a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll do a full VHS video here or something. Who knows? Who cares? If you want to see that, throw that in the comments section. I'll do it if I get a lot of response. If a lot of people want to see that, I'll do that up. But I hope you're having a great day. Hope you continue to have a great day, and hope you liked seeing all these VHSs and stuff. Let the nostalgia run through you. And that is everything I have to say. Peace out, brah.